Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei was betrayed and was the last person of Saiyan race part 3. Before we start, please go support Agarth and Reaper AC7 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 12. A help from another time, Kiba's special training. Once transformed into SSJ4, Issei realized that Trunks and Tapion were being defeated by the monster Janemba. However, the girls were still with Issei. Issei. Ross-chan, Akeno-san, So-chan, number 21, it is very dangerous for you to continue here, it would be better for you to return to the others. I'll take care of this monster. Even with the impression of surprise at seeing Issei acting so mature and along with the appearance he had, they listened to him and began to walk away, Sona being the last one said to him. Sona. Be careful, okay? Issei. Don't worry, So-chan. I'll be fine. Help the others finish off Volley and the others. But in the shadows, very hidden, there was someone else, someone who surprised him that the Saiyan was Issei. That someone was Kuroka, who was very hidden watching Issei's new appearance. She was blushing and licking her lips while she saw the Saiyan. Issei had already noticed her Kai for a long time, but he didn't say anything since he didn't sense bad intentions in her. Janemba threw a sphere of evil energy towards Trunks and Tapion. They managed to deflect it, but the ball deviated towards where Kuroka was. She was scared. She couldn't react, but Issei teleported, took her in his arms, and flew towards where the other factions were. While she was flying, Kuroka looked at Issei so surprised and so blushing that Issei noticed it, which only returned a smile. Kuroka. What are you doing? If you take me to where the factions and their leaders are, they will want to kill me for having gotten involved with Demigra and the Koz Brigade. Issei. Don't worry, I'll solve that, the important thing is that you didn't help in the Koz Brigade's attack, and since I noticed their presence, I knew that you had no bad intentions. Kuroka was even more surprised by Issei's way of acting. Issei teleported behind where the factions were, everyone was surprised to see Issei with Kuroka in her arms. Issei along with Kuroka approached Sona, Akeno, number 21 and Roswis. Issei. Girls, I need you to see that Kuroka is okay. Sona. Are you sure? Remember that she was allied with Demigra and the Koz Brigade. Issei. Don't worry So-chan, she's not like that anymore, I can feel it and I trust her. This surprised everyone. In just a few seconds Issei already trusted Kuroka. He knew that her intentions were not bad. This made Kuroka want to always be with Issei. The Saiyan had won the Nekomata's heart. Issei. Kuroka, please help the others defeat Volley's team, okay? Kuroka. Okay. Okay Issei-kun. Akeno. Ara, it seems that we have a new rival to have Issei-kun. Issei just smiled a little when listening to Akeno. Issei. By the way, number 21, I've noticed that you're not fighting seriously, you're not even transformed. A21. But Issei-kun, I haven't finished mastering my powers yet, remember that I haven't fought seriously in a long time. Issei. You must try your best, I know you can do it, we all trust you, she said smiling. Number 21 just blushed, approached Issei and kissed him on the mouth in the middle of the battle. They all looked at number 21 with jealousy, especially Riaz and his clan, which was jealousy along with anger and importance. A21. It seems like I just needed this kind of motivation. Sona. I can't believe that in the middle of a battle. Issei. Well. I'm leaving, I have to help Tapion and Trunks, be very careful and take care of each other, okay? Roswis. Take care of yourself too, Issei-kun. Issei. Don't worry, I'll be fine teleporting. Issei teleported to where Janemba, Trunks and Tapion were. Once Issei left number 21, he proceeded to use his power to the maximum and transforming into his Majin form. Once transformed number 21, she began to launch very powerful attacks, killing a large part of Demigra's army. From her attacks you could see that she was even stronger than her when she had her fight with Issei. Akeno. Ara, it seems that number 21 is very motivated. Sona. In that case I won't be able to stay behind. Making stronger attacks. Roswis. Issei-kun will be just for me. Akeno. I won't be left behind either. They all increased the intensity and power of her attacks, even Kuroka without saying anything began to help the others, giving her a great advantage over Demigra's servants and Volley's team. Returning to Janemba, Trunks and Tapion. Janemba was being very superior to Trunks and Tapion, leaving them very injured. At that moment Issei arrived in SSJ4 and kicked Janemba in the neck, making him fly many meters. Issei. You did a great job against this monster, but leave it to me, you try to help others. Trunks. Are you sure? Issei. Absolutely, I would like to push SSJ4 to its limits. By the way, take this. Issei took out the bag from her with the hermit seeds that Master Karen had given him and gave one to Trunks and Tapion. Trunks. A hermit seed. But how? Issei. As you said, if you have questions they will be answered later, the important thing is that monster, now go and help the others. Tapian went to help Kiba, both swordsmen fighting side by side, without knowing each other or anything. They worked very well as a team, but you could see Tapian's greater experience, so Kiba was very surprised. Meanwhile Trunks launched himself against Deimos, while Janemba was busy with Issei. He had no help because it was not much of a problem for Trunks to eliminate him, with a few cuts from his sword and a burst of Kai, he eliminated him in a short time. On the other hand, Janemba came out of the rubble to which he had been sent by Issei's kick, the monster only smiled very confidently. Issei for his part did not take his cold and deep gaze away from him. Issei launched himself at Janemba at a high speed. Just when he was about to punch him, he evaded the attack by doing a very strange kind of teleportation, to which Issei launched a kick into the air, hitting directly the place where Janemba would appear. The monster was very surprised by how he managed to predict his teleportation. Issei responded very seriously. Issei. Those tricks won't work on me, your excess negative energy makes it easier to know where you will appear after using your teleportation. The monster, upon hearing that, only maintained his confident smile. This increased his power, making the place shake, but Issei did not change his cold and serious expression. After increasing his power, Janemba looked angrily at Issei, to which Issei only responded with a confident smile. After increasing his power, Janemba looked angrily at Issei, to which Issei only responded with a confident smile. Janemba lunged with his sword at Issei, but he easily blocked the sword with a single finger. Issei. Come on, what happened to the power you had shown a while ago? Issei kneed him in the stomach, followed by a punch to finish with a kick. Janemba stood up with great fury towards Issei, trying to punch him, but he easily stopped him with one hand. Issei charged an energy ball into Janemba's stomach, creating a large explosion, sending Janemba flying once again into the rubble. Issei noticed that this energy ball was very different from the ones he had used previously, since it was red, and even though he was not fighting seriously, the energy ball had had a more than destructive effect on the monster. Issei. Drake. Did you feel the same as me in that ball of energy? Drake. Yes, apparently your grandfather forgot to mention that SSJ4 has a certain effect on your abilities, apparently it has a multiplier of approx. Of 10, apart from the effect of my power increase when you did the dragon attack, it is still active. Issei. So if I cast a Kamehameha it would be increased 10 times, right? Drake. Yes, in fact you don't even have to use all your power to kill that monster. I have noticed for a long time how you are holding back, remember that against a stronger enemy, you cannot trust yourself like you are doing now. Issei. I know, I was thinking of having a little more fun, but apparently this damn monster is no match for me. What a disappointment. Issei launched himself against Janemba, throwing him upwards with a kick to teleport above him and connect many blows and kicks at great speed, then with both fists together, he sent him to the ground, and before the monster touched the ground, Issei he was already waiting for him to kick him, throwing him against some rocks, leaving him stamped, very tired and very injured. Issei. Well Drake, you're ready. Drake. Yes, mate. Issei began to charge a Kamehameha, but this time it was more powerful and was red, and this time Drake was increasing the power of Issei's Kamehameha. Issei. Ka.me.ha.me. Drake. Boost 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 boost. Issei. Hi-ya. Drake. Explosion. A giant burst of red energy shook the entire place, causing everyone on the other side of the battle to pause for a moment due to the magnitude of Issei's attack. Issei's boosted Kamehameha the 10th-10 hit Janemba squarely, disintegrating him. Instant, which resulted in a huge crater. Issei smiling, it seems like I got a little out of hand. Issei teleported to where the others were, he approached Gasper to congratulate him. Gasper. You are incredible, Issei-senpai. Issei. It's not a big deal Gasper, you also did incredible against that monster. Meanwhile with Vali's team, Tapian was fighting hard against Arthur, but clearly the experience made him much superior. Vali and Biku were terrified by Issei's last attack, so they all tried to escape, but number 21 used his lightning candy to turn Biku into chocolate, he just approached and ate it, further increasing his power. A21. It was average. On a scale of 1 to 100, I give it a 45. Everyone was amazed at what had just happened, while Issei just smiled and put his hand behind his head. Vali was about to escape, but Issei intercepted him. Vali. I am impressed, the power you have achieved is totally different from what you had before, I couldn't expect less from you. Issei. I'm not interested, just listen to me, I'll let you escape, but tell your majesty that I'll be waiting for him. Now get out or else you want to suffer the same fate as the monster I just pulverized. Vali left with what was left of his team and Demigras' army. Issei approached where the girls were. To which Akeno rushed to hug him. Akeno. My Issei-kun is amazing, apart from the fact that he became very hexy he became very strong. Sona. Akeno it's not fair. Seeing this, Sona did the same, and Roswis and number 21 joined her. Kuroka watched as the girls were hugging Issei, a little jealous. Issei saw how she was looking at him a little away from the others, so she just returned a smile, making her blush. Issei approached her. Issei. I'm really glad you helped the others, I guess you don't have a place to stay, if you want you can stay with us. Hiroka, without saying a word, happily rushed towards him to hug him saying only. Thank you. Hiroka felt like this because no one had ever been so attentive and friendly, but she finally managed to find someone who cared about her. Issei looked into her eyes, and from the warmth of her hug, you could feel the sincerity of her feelings. They separated. Kuroka joined Roswas, Sona, Akeno and number 21 all talking and laughing with each other. Issei returned to her base state and went to where Trunks and Tapion were, they had so much to talk about. Issei. Now, since there is no longer any threat, we can talk calmly, don't you think? Trunks. Yes, you're right. At that moment they were interrupted by Surziches. Surziches. Very well done Issei-kun and you too. They fought in a formidable way. Issei. Thanks. I guess. Surziches. I would like to give you a reward for defending the underworld. Tell me what you would like. Issei. Well, to tell the truth I don't have anything in mind. At that moment a great roar was heard throughout the place, it was Issei's Saiyan stomach. He only reacted with a small smile. Surziches. Oh, I understand. Surziches ordered a banquet to be prepared to celebrate the victory of the battle. Once everything was prepared, everyone gathered to eat, but no one ate due to the impression that a certain Saiyan made when devouring one dish after another, ordering more food to the waiters, who moved as fast as they could, trying to reach the place. Rhythm at which Issei ate, one sated, now they could talk calmly with Trunks. Issei. Well Trunks, now. We can talk calmly. Trunks. Well, as you may have already realized, I am not the Trunks you know, I come from another era which was in serious danger on 2 occasions. A time where Goku, my father Vegeta, my teacher Gohan are no longer alive. In fact that timeline no longer even exists. Issei. Huh? My grandfather Goku, my grandfather Gohan and Mr. Vegeta were defeated. And how does that era no longer exist? Trunks. Are you Goku and Gohan's grandson? Ah, I see why you are so strong and why you eat so much. Issei. Well, now you know hahaha. What I don't understand is what you mean when you say that timeline no longer exists. Trunks. Well, I'll tell you, when your grandfather returned from the planet Namek after defeating Frieza, he contracted a fatal heart disease. Since it was an unknown disease, there was no cure and your grandfather died. Shortly after, 2 androids appeared and murdered my dad. And to the others. With only my teacher Gohan and me left, despite the arduous training Gohan was killed, so I traveled in the time machine to the past to help your grandfather and trained to return peace to my world. Issei. What you are telling me was the battle against Cell. True. Trunks. What? How do you know? Issei. Thanks to the Supreme Kaiosama I was able to meet my grandfather Goku and the others, they told me many anecdotes about their past battles, but they never mentioned you. Trunks. I see, that's how you know part of the facts. Issei. Continue, please. Trunks. Well, after he managed to defeat the androids and Cell in the future, a stronger enemy appeared. Issei. Black. Trunks. Yes, in fact he had clothes very similar to yours, I see that you already know that part of the story, it is not necessary to tell it. Issei. From what they told me he was very strong, but aren't they supposedly able to defeat him and make the future peaceful again? Trunks. No, the timeline where I came from was eliminated from existence, so I had to go to a new time, where there would be peace, but shortly after that, the Supreme Kaiosama of Time contacted me, she wanted my help, at the same time having experience with time travel, I joined her and with other warriors, I have been taking care of those who try to alter history for their own benefit, that is why I came to this timeline, Mira and Towa have been the culprits of many temporal distortions, so I have tried for a long time to put an end to his evils, and even more so with Demigra coming back to life. That was why I came with Tapion, he has helped me in my work to protect the timelines, when the Supreme Kaiosama of Time told us that giant monster called Hildegen was at this time, we traveled in the time machine to help you, Tapion knew how that monster behaved, Towa and her allies are in charge of bringing enemies from other times, with increased power in order to alter history. Please Issei, I ask you, you have to help me defeat them, I will help you in any way. Issei. It's okay, don't worry we will defeat them, after all we are Saiyans. Trunks. I knew I could count on you. If there was something I could do. Issei. In fact, if there is anything, that one over there pointing to Kiba is my friend Kiba, he has very good skills with the sword, I need you to help me become stronger, both you and Tapion have a lot of experience using the sword in battle, so I think it would be a good idea to train him a little. Trunks. Well, I'll talk to Tapion, to let him know. Issei. I guess they don't have any place to sleep, they can stay with us as long as they want, it's a very big house, and only I live with the girls, my parents are away. Trunks. I appreciate it very much, Issei. Issei. Well it's time to go. Issei left to look for his girls and gathered Trunks and Tapion, but just before returning home, Surziches approached him along with Riaz and his entourage. Surziches. I thank you very much Issei-kun, thank you for protecting me, my family and especially my sister. Upon hearing this Issei changed his expression to a serious and threatening one. Issei. With all due respect Surziches-sama, I did not come here to fight for you or for anyone, I thank you very much for the food and the celebration, but I want you and your sister's entourage to listen to me, listen well because I will not repeat it. Stop misunderstanding things, the fact that I fought here was because I did it for the people I love, and let me tell you that none of you are one of those, so just stop bothering me, and for more let them try it, I will never change my opinion. Now if you'll excuse me, I'll leave. Those of the Gremory clan were very surprised by the serious and cold way in which he said those words, leaving Riaz, Kaneko, Zenobia, Irina and Asia very sad and very hurt by what Issei said. Sona opened the magic circle and everyone teleported home, it was night and Issei took Trunks and Tapion to their rooms, since when all the girls slept with him, there were many empty rooms, Issei after leaving Tapion and Trunks in their rooms, he prepared to go to his room to sleep, everyone was already there waiting for him completely naked to settle into sleep, even Kuroka. Issei just smiled and got into bed, they all clung very tightly to the Saiyan, and then they all fell asleep. The next day. Everything happened as usual for Issei, boring classes, sighs from girls who passed by him while he walked, right at the exit he went to look for Kiba, so he could train with Trunks and Tapion. Issei. Hey Kiba. Issei-kun it's you, it's nice to see you. Issei. Yes, after yesterday every day becomes boring, haha. Kiba. By the way, yesterday you fought in an incredible way, Gasper was very happy saying that he wanted to be like you really left me very impressed. Issei. It's no big deal, I didn't even fight seriously, by the way Kiba, do you have time? Kiba. Yes, I have nothing to do, why do you ask? Issei. You asked me to help you train, but I'm not very good with swords, so I asked Tapion and Trunks to help you train. Kiba. Seriously? Issei. Yes, in fact they are waiting behind the school, near the abandoned building of the occult club, I just hope that Riaz and the others are not there, it would be a hassle to have to repeat the same thing over and over again. They both went to the back, as Issei was not going home yet, the girls decided to accompany him, even Kuroka who was secretly spying on Issei during his classes, once there, Trunks and Tapion were waiting for Kiba and Issei. Tapion. So you're Kiba. Nice to meet you, my name is Tapion, I will do everything possible to help you improve your skills, I hope to be of great help. Trunks. Nice to meet you Kiba, I'm glad I can help you, although I'm not as good a swordsman as Tapion, but I hope I can help you a lot. Kiba. Thank you both very much, and thanks to you Issei-kun you are definitely my best friend. Issei. No problem, remember that you were the one who saved me when all that happened. Now go and do your best. Kiba left with Trunks and Tapion, they began to give him advice on how to better control his Kai, and in this way be able to send bursts of energy from his sword. Trunks taught him how to use the Jinkies word, which consisted of concentrating a large amount of energy in the sword, would take on a larger size, and emanate a glow of light. The force of this attack was destructive, so he had to use it effectively. As Trunks was not as experienced as Tapion in the art of swords, he withdrew from training. Leaving Kiba under Tapion's tutelage, approached Issei. Trunks. It's obvious that your friend is not a novice in sword fighting. Issei. Yes, Kiba is very strong, but seeing you two fight motivated him to want to be better. Trunks. He has a lot of potential, not to be a Saiyan like us. Issei. Hey Trunks, how about a friendly fight? Trunks. Sounds good. They both got up, and since Kiba and Tapion had already been training for a long time, they decided to rest a little. Issei and Trunks stood in front of each other, both transforming into Super Saiyans. Issei. Don't hold back just because it's not against an enemy. Trunks. Same here. They both began to hit each other at a high speed, they were very evenly matched, but everyone knew that Issei was holding back, not satisfied with their performance, they both went on to Super Saiyan 3, creating noises throughout the place, everyone who was present was very amazed. Seeing the power of both Saiyans. Meanwhile somewhere in the galaxy, Soldier 1. Mr. Kuriza. What's wrong, Soldier? Soldier 1. We have detected a large amount of energy on planet 4032-877 in the northern galaxy. Kuriza. If I'm not mistaken, that's the Earth, right? And what's so special about that energy captured by satellites? Soldier 1. The results indicate that it is a Saiyan. Kuriza. What? Those apes weren't supposed to be already dead. Well, it seems that I will have to pay Earth a visit, annihilating the last of that race will be like honoring my late father, those damn Saiyans will kneel before the new emperor of the universe. Chapter 13. The perfect date ruined. The final battle against Demigra begins. Trunks and Issei were having an intense battle, while everyone watched in wonder. That's when Rias and her entourage arrived, but Issei was so excited with the fight he was having with Trunks that he didn't even notice. Both of them continued with their fight, they kept exchanging words. A large number of blows against each other, even though both were transformed into Super Saiyan 3, the clear advantage that Issei had over Trunks was noticeable, so Trunks decided to use his sword to attack Issei. He only responded to Trunks' movement with a smile. He extended his hand, and with just one finger, he blocked all the Saiyan's attacks from the future. When he had already blocked a large number of attacks from Trunks' sword, Issei disappeared to reappear behind Trunks' back to hit him. Of karate right in the back of the head, sending him towards the ground and causing him to return to his base state due to the impact. Issei approached him to give him a hermit seed. Trunks. Wow, Issei, it shows that you're the grandson of Lord Goku. Issei. You're not far behind either, Trunks, it seems you inherited many characteristics from Mr. Vegeta. Tiba and Tapion approached where they were to congratulate them both on the fight. Tiba. So this is the strength of the Saiyans. I'm really impressed. Issei. Come on, it's not that big of a deal. Smiling, Issei noticed that Rias and her clan were there, but he pretended not to notice them to avoid having to deal with them, so he only went to where Sona and the others were, accompanied by Tapion and Trunks. Kiba left with Rias to tell him what had happened and how he had become stronger thanks to the training he had just had with the people who came from another era. Issei began to walk in the direction of where the Grimoires were. They thought that they had changed their minds about them and that he would return to Rias, but their illusions disappeared when he walked by, totally ignoring them. In reality, Issei just wanted to say hello to Gasper and talk to him for a while. Kiba joined them, and after a while he said goodbye to them, and to avoid any contact with Rias and the others, he alone teleported with Sona and the others to start walking towards his house. There was a dead silence in Ria's group, no one said anything at all. Kiba and Gasper looked at each other until Rias broke the silence. Rias. It can't be, I can't stand all this anymore, I can't stand that he's no longer by my side. Zenobia. President, please calm down, the only thing we have to do is earn Issei's trust again, one way or another he will forgive us. Irina. If Issei-san really didn't die, that means that he is still that tender pervert that he always was with us, so we will just have to find a way to seduce him to make him return to our side. Kaneko. We have to get Issei-senpai back with us. They were all very hopeful that Issei would return to them. They devised different ways to seduce him and activate his perverted instincts so that it would be easier for him to forgive them. At that moment Kiba interrupted them. Kiba. With all due respect to everyone, especially you, President. I don't think Issei-kun will forgive them so easily. Rias. What do you mean, Udo? Kiba. When I rescued Issei-kun after being injured by Razor that time, and I told him about what you were doing with your supposed boyfriends, his reaction left me speechless. I was devastated. I had never seen him like this. His expressions and gestures showed that it was as if they were destroying him from within. And apart from the sure way in which he has demonstrated his indifference toward you, I think you would have to make a gigantic effort to get him back into the group. Rias and the others stayed silent, wondering if Issei could love them again, just like he once did. Meanwhile, Issei, Sona, Akeno, Roswas, Kuroka, number 21, Tapion and Trunks were heading home, calmly talking about what had just happened. Sona told everyone that the school administration had decided that there would be no tomorrow classes since they had recently passed the exams and they wanted the teachers to grade the exams quickly. When everyone heard this, Issei and Akeno were excited, but number 21 and Roswas became a little sad since they did have to go to school and grade a lot of tests. Tapion, Trunks and Kuroka just laughed when they saw Akeno and Roswas's reaction. They arrived home and everyone entered except Sona and Issei. Issei was about to enter, but she realized that Sona was standing outside, very quiet. Issei. Huh? Did something happen, So-chan? Sona. Issei-kun. Can I ask you something? Issei. Whatever you want, So-chan. Sona. I would like tomorrow. Issei. Yes. So-chan. Sona. You would have a date with me. When Issei heard these words, he blushed and was totally surprised. He had never seen Sona act that way. He didn't expect her to ask him that. Issei. Yeah, So-chan, I would love to go out with you. Hearing these words, Sona threw herself on him and hugged him. Issei in his thought said. I have never seen Sona act like that, she looks much prettier when she acts that way. They both separated and entered the house. Everything went on normally until the next day. The next day. Issei woke up a little late, around 10 in the morning. When he woke up he noticed that the bed was empty, so he went downstairs to find only Sona and Akeno. They both explained that Roswas and number 21 had to go to school for exam grading. Kuroka had gone out to visit Kaneko and explained to her that she was no longer with the Cows Brigade. Trunks and Tapion had gone to greet Dend and the teacher. Karen and Akeno were getting ready to leave because they were going to visit their father Barakiel. So only Issei and Sona would be left at home. Akeno said goodbye to both of them, and just when Akeno left, they were both very nervous about being alone. So there was a bit of silence. Issei. Well. What are we waiting for? Sona. What? Issei. I didn't want to tell you, but I was very eager to go out with you. This made Sona blush, and Issei was surprised to see her this red. Issei. But. Sona. But what? Issei. But first I have to eat something or else I'll die of hunger, he said smiling. Sona responded with a smile saying. It's okay, just wait a little. In a moment I will serve you your breakfast. Issei. Well, you finish making food, I'm going to go take a bath, so I'll be ready for our date. Sona's still blushing. It's okay, Issei-kun. Issei prepared to go up the stairs and take a bath. While he took a shower, he thought about whether he had the necessary power to be able to defend his loved ones in the earth. At that, a knock on the door interrupted his thoughts. It was Sona. Sona. Issei-kun, the food is ready. Hurry before it gets cold. Issei. I'll be there in a moment, So-chan. Issei said in his mind. No matter what may happen, at this moment the important thing is to enjoy the day with So-chan. Issei left the bathroom and went to his room to change. He dressed in a red shirt, blue jeans and black shoes, and over his shirt, a black leather jacket that he had saved for special occasions. Fortunately, one day she asked Akeno and Roswis to magically increase the size of her clothes due to her muscles obtained from training with her grandfather. She left his room, went down the stairs, he realized that Sona was no longer there, he assumed that perhaps she had gone to get ready to go out with him. Issei proceeded to devour like a good Saiyan, he finished by getting up and taking the dishes to the kitchen. Since Sona was taking too long to leave, he decided to wash them to at least try to contribute something to the order of the house. Issei went to the door and shouted from the ground floor. Issei. So-chan, I'll be waiting for you down here. Sona. Okay, Issei-kun, I'll be out in a moment. Issei left his house and began to contemplate the sky, then a voice interrupted him. Kaya-sama. Issei. Do you hear me, boy? Issei. Kaya-sama. Kaya-sama. Wow, I'm glad to see that you still remember me. How are you, boy? Issei. Well, although a little nervous. Kaya-sama. Ah, I see, boy, I was contacting you to let you know that whenever you want to come train, you are welcome on my planet. Issei. Thank you very much, Kaya-sama. Kaya-sama. You're welcome, boy. Well, I'll leave, we'll talk later. Just when Issei finished talking to Kaya-sama, he felt someone hug him from behind. It was Sona. When Issei turned around, he was surprised to see Sona in a way he had never seen her before. Sona was in front of him, she was wearing a pink dress with a black bow under his breasts. Issei had no words for what he was seeing. Sona seeing Issei's reaction, she became too nervous. Sona. What's wrong, Issei-kun? Do I look bad? Issei. No. Not at all. You look beautiful. I'm just not used to seeing you dressed like that. Sona. Well then let's go. They both began to walk towards the center of Kuo. As they walked, all the girls they met along the way sighed and looked at Sona with envy. Seeing that she was going with Issei, she was there to fix the matter, she decided to take it from him. Issei was surprised to see the attitudes that Sona had towards him. He was beginning to believe that everything that had happened had a positive side. He had become stronger, and the people he was now with constantly showed their affection towards him. Sona noticed that Issei was very thoughtful. Sona. Is something wrong, Issei-kun? Issei. Huh? No, it's nothing. Sona. It's because you feel strange hanging out with me. Issei. Not at all. It's just that I was thinking about how lucky I feel to be dating you. Sona. Do you know this is my first date? Issei. Huh? Oh really? In that case I will make sure you have the best time. Issei took Sona's hand and started running. They visited many clothing stores, a pet store, visited the aquarium and the zoo. After that, they went to the park. Issei bought 2 ice creams and gave one to Sona, and they both sat on one of the park benches. Sona. I had a lot of fun, Issei-kun. Issei. Me too, So-chan. I loved spending the day with you. We should go out together more often. Sona. Are you serious? She said very excitedly. Issei. Yes, I'm serious. Sona. You're the best, Issei-kun. Saying this, Sona smiled. Issei noticed Sona's expression, so he was totally lost seeing her smile. Issei in her thoughts. Who would have thought that the coldest and most calculating girl in school, she looks so beautiful when she smiles. Sona. Let's go home, Issei-kun. Issei. It's okay, So-chan. They both got up and started walking towards the Haidu residence. Sona took him by the arm, and during the entire trip she wouldn't let go until they both got home. Meanwhile in the underworld, Surziches and Grafia were talking quietly in the Gremory mansion until a portal opened in the ground from which Towa, Mira and Demigra emerged. Surziches. Damn, it's that damn one again. And from the aura he emanates you can tell that he is stronger than before. Grafia. Surziches-sama. What are you planning to do? At that moment, Demigra along with Towa and Mira approached where Surziches is. Demigra? I'll only tell you once, Surziches, bring me the Saiyan right now. Surziches stared at him. Rafia. Surziches Sama, do you want me to call all the families? Surziches. No, go to Issei-kun directly. Returning to Issei and Sona. When they got home they realized that no one had arrived yet. They both entered and Sona stood at the door and Issei noticed this and very strangely asked her. Issei. Is something wrong, So-chan? Sona. Issei-kun, I had a great day with you, but. Issei. But. Sona. There is something that is needed to make it a perfect day. Sona threw herself against hers, giving her a big kiss. The kiss was long and they both separated due to lack of air. Issei. So-chan. Sona. Issei-kun, I want to go further. Issei. But So-chan. Sona kissed him again, took Issei's hand and placed it on her breasts. Issei let himself go and began to grope them. Issei let himself be controlled by his impulses, to which while he continued kissing her, he began to touch Sona's butt. Issei, taking advantage of his powers, took Sona's hand, put it on his shoulder, and with another hand, he placed his fingers on her forehead, teleported to his room, laid Sona on the bed, and began to kiss her, while massaging her breasts. Just as they both began to undress, a magical circle opened. It was Grafia. Grafia. Issei-kun, Miss Citri, sorry for interrupting your passionate moment. Issei and Sona. Grafia. Issei. What are you doing here? Can't one have privacy at a time as important as this? Grafia. I'm sorry, Issei-kun. But it was an emergency. The demon god Demigra, along with his servants, appeared in the underworld, asking Surziches Sama to bring you to the underworld. Issei. That bastard, he's already fed up with me. I can't let that stupid guy get away with it. He's going to regret it. He always has to be ruining everything. This time I will be in charge of putting an end to that damn thing. How dare you ruin such an important moment like this? Sona put her hand on Issei saying. Calm down, Issei-kun. We can do it whenever you want. This made him surprised by Sona's attitude, so he just smiled back. He put on his suit and prepared to take the bag with the hermit seeds. Sona changed from his dress to his typical school uniform. Issei. Listen, I'll use teleportation. Grafia, you tell the others and the other factions in case something bad happens. Sona, I will take you to the sacred temple of Kamisama. Once there, explain the situation to Dend and tell Tapian and Trunks. I'm going directly to give that damn thing what he deserves. Grafia. Whatever you say, Issei-kun. Grafia left in a magic circle. Issei took Sona by the hand and teleported to Kamisama's temple. Issei. Well, Trunks and Tapian should be here, explained to Dend what was happening. I'm going to the underworld to fight with that unfortunate man. Sona. Be careful, okay? I don't want anything to happen to you. Issei. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Sona approached to give him another kiss. One separated. Issei proceeded to go to the underworld using teleportation. Appearing in the underworld, right next to Surziches. With Demigra, Mira and Towa still with Demigra. Surziches. I'm glad you answered my call, Issei-kun. Issei. I'm already tired of this bastard always interrupting my affairs and him always showing up at the least appropriate time. Demigra. You finally showed up, Ape. I think it's time for me to finish you off so you can stop getting in my way. Issei. I'll tell you just once, insect. I was in the middle of something too important for you to show up here to bother me. So I won't be as flexible as last time. Just when Issei said that, he lunged at Demigra, ready to punch her, but then Mira got in her way. Issei. Damn insect, what are you doing in my way? Get away if you don't want to die. Somewhere in the other world. Vegeta. Sneezes. Goku. Cheers. What's wrong, Vegeta? Are you sick? Vegeta. Corkhead, how will I get sick if I'm dead? I think someone is saying insect on Earth and it's not me. Returning to Issei and the others. Mira. Yes, you want to fight with Demigra Sama, you have to go over me. Issei. For me there is no problem. Issei became Super Saiyan and began to frantically attack Mira, landing a large number of punches, giving her a beating. A little hurt. Mira was furious and he turned to Issei very angry. Look. Miserable, how dare you? Issei smiled confidently. Mira. Well, I'll have to go further. Towa, can I break the seal? Towa. Yes, as long as you eliminate this conceited brat. Mira began to increase his power, breaking the seal on his chest, emanating a great and evil demonic energy. Seeing this, Issei transformed into Super Saiyan 2, fighting Mira again. Despite having broken his power seal, Issei was very confident and surpassed him considerably. At that moment the other demon families arrived, the faction leaders, Issei's girls, Trunks and Tapian. Seeing how easily Issei was defeating Mira, so all the girls in the place only noticed how handsome Issei looked in Super Saiyan. Asper. There's no need to worry, because Issei-senpai will defeat him. Hiba. There is no doubt about that, but I notice Issei a little upset, more than usual. Doesn't it give you the same impression? Azazel. I guess Issei didn't like the idea of interrupting his day of rest just because that Demigra called him. At that moment Xerxes and Graphia appeared. Xerxes? I think Graphia could answer that since she was the one who fought with Issei-kun. Graphia? But Xerxes-sama. Do you think it's appropriate? Sona? No, Issei-kun wasn't doing anything. Xerxes? Come on, Citri-kun, there's nothing to be sorry about. Come on Graphia, tell them. Graphia? Well, Issei-kun and Citri-sama were having a date. Everyone? What? At that moment the male Leviathan approached her sister and with a childish attitude she demanded her sister. Seraphil. Sotan, how dare you get ahead of me to have Issei-kun? This surprised everyone, but Sona did not answer, still very red from what Graphia said. Akeno. Ara, apparently Sona was smarter than us. A21. I can't believe we left them alone for so long. Roswis. Sona-chan, how could you? Hiroka. Nyan, it seems I have to be very careful, otherwise Issei-kun will end up being stolen from me. Issei continued fighting Mira. Issei managed to punch him in the stomach, making him spit out a little saliva, then she kicked him sending him against some rocks. While Mira was on the rocks, Issei approached where the others were. Issei. Trunks, Tapion. That useless Mira is very badly injured, go and finish him off. I will take care of ending Demigra once and for all. Trunks. It's okay, Issei. Tapion, come on. At that moment Roswis interrupted Issei. Roswis? Issei-kun. Why did you go on a date with Sona-chan and not me? Issei. Ross-chan. Akeno. Ara, apparently Issei-kun owes us an explanation. All of his girls approached him, this made Issei calm down a little. Issei. Calm down girls, when all this is over I will go out with each of you, okay? This made everyone happy, while a certain Ritit and his family were very jealous and angry. Issei. Well, now I'm going to put an end to this. By the way, number 21, can you go beat that Towa person? A21. Whatever you say, Issei-kun. Transforming into Majin form, going to fight with Towa. Issei. Well, I'm leaving. Issei began to fly in the direction of Demigra, facing each other. Demigra? Your insolence is very unpleasant, it's time to put an end to this. Issei. I say the same. Aye. Issei transformed into Super Saiyan 3, while Demigra, with a smile, began to raise his Kai. They both began to fight, hitting each other a lot until Issei managed to block one of his blows and then punched him in the face, sending him flying a few meters. Demigraded with his scepter, he threw a ball of energy at Issei. He put his arms together as protection, the ball hit him but did little damage. Demigra? What a surprise, I see that you're not that bad, but with that alone you won't defeat me. Issei. I also say the same, the Kai I felt before when I saw you for the first time is totally different from the one you have now. Demigra? Apparently you are not as stupid as you seem, well then you know that this is not all my power. Issei. I noticed it a long time ago. Demigra began to increase his power and Issei responded by transforming into Super Saiyan 4. Issei attacked him, even though Demigra had increased his power, he was no match for the SSJ4. Issei kicked him in the stomach and then charge a ball of energy and make it hit Demigra's back, sending him to the ground. Demigra? Miserable ape, how dare you? Issei. It would be a shame if this were all your power. Demigrate, so you think. Issei. If you have something to show, do it, otherwise I will kill you right now. Issei began to charge a ball of energy in his hand while Demigra increased his power. Issei threw it at him and upon impact, a large screen of smoke formed. When it dissipated, he noticed the Demigra had transformed, he was much larger and had a terrifying appearance and his power had increased a lot. Demigra? What do you think, Saiyan? Apparently you're not the only one who can transform. Issei. Wow, you have impressed me, but even though you have increased your power, you have missed something very important. Demigra? Shut up, you're just talking nonsense. Demigra launched himself against Issei, but being a very corpulent transformation made him too slow, so Issei easily dodged his attacks. To everyone's amazement, Issei returned to his base state. Which made everyone start to wonder what was the reason for his detransformation. Michael? What happened to Issei-kun? His opponent changed into a form that made him stronger, but he decided to return to his base state. Could it be that he gave up? Sona? You're wrong, Michael-sama. Michael? Could you explain, Citri-kun? Sona? You only have to look at Issei-kun's expression to realize that he trusts himself too much, in short he is playing with his opponent. Issei dodged each of his blows, Demigra grabbed him by the neck, but he freed himself with a powerful kick. Demigra began to throw bursts of Kai at the Saiyan, Issei dodging them at high speed rose much higher, with his eyes upward, he closed his eyes and relaxed. His Kai aura became smaller and pure, surrounding his body, a flame emerged from his feet that covered his entire body until it reached the tip of his red hair, and a red aura covered him completely. Demigra felt some fear, seeing Issei from below. The Saiyan exerted a gigantic pressure on the environment, and his imposingness and confidence could be seen. Like Demigra, the others who were watching the fight were terrified and very surprised by the Issei's new transformation. Michael. This kind of energy is Odin. Of a power that surpasses that of the gods. Surziches. Does that mean that Issei-kun transformed into a god? All that. Returning to Issei and Demigra. Issei. What happened? What happened to your desire to fight? Demigra. Miserable, what have you become? Issei. In a god. In a Super Saiyan god. Chapter 14. Conclusion of a divine battle. Demon God vs SSJ God. Once transformed into Super Saiyan God, Issei launched himself at great speed against Demigra, punching him. Demigra tried to react, but being too slow and compared to the speed of Super Saiyan God, he was unsuccessful. Issei began to give him a large number of blows, while the spectators of the fight were still surprised and terrified by the gigantic pressure that was in the environment. Asper. Issei-senpai's hair looks a lot like President Ria's. Asper's comment made Ria's feel a little strange as she looked at Issei with great admiration. Ria's in her mind. It's true. Red. A kind of red that resembles blood. Her beautiful red hair, her crimson, just like mine. Zenobia. President. Is something wrong? Ria's. No, it's nothing. Azazel. Wow, that brat never ceases to amaze me. Who would have imagined that that boy who was once a perverted fool would achieve the power of the gods? Surziches. I am really very impressed. I think that no angel, fallen angel or demon is at the level of Issei-kun. It would be better not to make him our enemy. Returning to Issei and Demigra. After giving her an immense amount of blows, Issei brought her hands together and placed them on her head. Issei. Miinku Heiaya. Issei attacked Demigra with a technique that Gohan had taught him. The attack hit Demigra squarely. This left Demigra very badly injured, panting. Issei smiled very confidently when he saw this. Issei. What's happening? This is the power of the feared demon god Demigra. Demigra. Damn, do not make fun of me. Issei. It's time for you to disappear. It was no use bringing you back to life. If you're going to die right after your resurrection, it's a shame. Issei extended his hand in Demigra's direction. Issei. The Big Bang attack. A ball of energy formed in Issei's hand, the ball of energy hitting Demigra squarely. Even though she was very badly injured, she managed to resist Issei's attack. Issei. Wow, it seems you are very resistant, but with one more attack you will be finished. Demigra. Don't even think I'll leave it so easy for you, you've already made me angry, I'll take care of giving you a slow and painful death. Demigra began to raise his power, emanating a red aura, raising the rocks and a thick layer of smoke surrounding him. Everyone was terrified by the power that Demigra was demonstrating, but Issei continued with his serious and cold expression. When the smoke disappeared, Demigra had changed radically. He no longer had that corpulent and terrifying form, he now resembled his base form, only he had a tail, he had no clothes, and it was noticeable that his power had increased considerably. Issei. Wow, it seems you had more tricks in store, I hope you don't waste my time this time. Demigra. Talk all you want, damn Saiyan ape, this is my primal god form, this time I will make you pay for your insolence. Demigra launched himself against Issei. Now he was faster and managed to land some blows on the Saiyan, but Issei was not far behind, despite not using his maximum power. Issei. Wow, you have left me very impressed, it looks like it will be a good fight. Demigra launched himself against Issei, trying to land a blow, however Issei, although with a little difficulty he managed to block all the blows. The speed of the Super Saiyan God was much superior to Demigra's primal demonic god form, because what he did afterwards after so many attempts, Demigra managed to land a punch on Issei's face, however he didn't even flinch. Demigra, furious, tried to hit him again, but Issei managed to stop Demigra's fist. With his hand, Issei raised his fist, hitting him in the face of Demigra, making it fly several meters until it hits the ground, leaving a crater around it. Demigra. Miserable, how can you be so powerful? Issei. It's because I'm a Saiyan, and you forgot a very important thing, Demigra, you should never underestimate the most powerful warrior race in the universe. Issei launched himself at Demigra, giving him a kick that threw him into the air. Issei began by punching him a lot, then kicked him in the stomach, and then sent him to the ground with an elbow. Issei descended slowly, Demigra barely managed to stay standing. Issei approached him. Issei. It turned out that you were just a talker, do us all a favor and don't resurrect again, because if you do it again, I myself will take care of eliminating you as many times as necessary. Demigra. How could I lose? The demon god. Issei. It's time to die, insect, are you ready, Dreg? Dreg. Ready, mate. Issei began to charge energy and raise his power, while Dreg multiplied Issei's power. Dreg. Boost 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 boost. Issei. I will show you the true power of a god with my two most powerful special techniques combined. Dreg. Boost 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 boost. Issei placed his two hands together and a large powerful ball of energy formed in them. Issei, very serious and somewhat angry, said, Issei. Big Bang Kamehameha. Breg. Explosion. From the ball of energy formed by Issei, a flash came out that then transformed into a giant burst of Kai, leaving a crater around Issei. Just like the trajectory of Issei's attack, Issei's Big Bang Kamehameha impacted squarely on Issei. He demigrated, disintegrating him completely. The Super Saiyan God had finished off the demon god. Issei's attack created a gigantic explosion, followed by a great roar and a powerful tremor. Everyone was speechless at the power that Issei had demonstrated. The Saiyan, after having used a lot of energy in that attack, was very agitated and tired, but that didn't matter. Demigra had been eliminated, but Mira and Towa still remained. Meanwhile, with Towa vs A21 and Trunks and Tapion vs Mira. Trunks, converted into SSJ3, did not have many difficulties against Mira. He alternated with Tapion to be able to attack Mira, while A21 did not have many problems with Towa. Number 21 decided to end the battle using his Candy Ray, turning Towa into a cupcake. A21 approached the cupcake and ate it. A21. This one was better than the other. If he had to evaluate it on a scale of 1 to 100, he would give it a 67. Mira, upon seeing this, got very angry, frantically attacking Trunks, giving him a punch that would send him flying a few meters. Tapion tried to counterattack Mira, but it was useless. It had the same result as Trunks. Issei, upon seeing this, thought about intervening, but then at that moment Kiba took out a sword from a magic circle and raised it, and at that moment, Issei realized that Kiba was willing to do the technique that Trunks taught Kiba in his training, the Genki's word. Kiba began to concentrate all his energy on his sword, launching himself against Mira, despite Kiba's determination and the power that he emanated were incredible. Issei knew that it would not be enough, so he raised his hand, sending a ball of energy towards Kiba, which he would absorb, and his sword would be wrapped in light and increase in size. Kiba noticed that Issei had helped him, so he just smiled. Mira realized too late about Kiba's attack, so he was pierced by Kiba's Genki's word. Once Kiba managed to connect his sword with Mira, he raised it, making a vertical slash, then retreated a little and launched a powerful burst of Kai from his sword, creating a large explosion that eliminated Mira instantly. The danger had passed, the threats had been eliminated. Issei, noticing that there was no longer any enemy, approached the rest using his teleportation. When the others noticed this, they were terrified to see that the Super Saiyan God was in front of them. The first to approach Issei was Gasper. Gasper. Issei-senpai, you are amazing. Issei. Come on Gasper, it's not that big of a deal, hahaha. Gasper. Tell me Issei-senpai, what does it feel like to be a god? Issei. It doesn't feel that different, although I do feel a little exhausted. At that moment Issei felt a pain that he had never felt in his life. He felt as if all his bones were breaking at once, and he spit out a little blood. Everyone was worried when they saw what was happening to Issei, especially his girls. Sona. Issei-kun, are you okay? Roswis. Issei-kun, don't scare us like that. Akeno. Issei-kun, we told you to be careful, don't worry us like that. Issei. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. It's just that being in Super Saiyan God used all my energy, so my body couldn't stand the wear and tear, but it's not. At that moment Issei collapsed to the ground, falling unconscious. Sona. Nuo Issei. Akeno. We have to take him home immediately. We have to cure him. Nobody understood what was happening to Issei. Issei's girls began to shed tears, even Rias and his clan. Trunks, Tapion and Kiba came over to see what was happening. Issei's girls were all very upset and worried about what had happened to Issei. They quickly opened a magical circle, transporting themselves back to their home. An hour later. It was night. Issei slowly opened his eyes. He noticed that he was in his room. He felt a familiar warmth. They were the girls, Roswis and Sona, each next to Issei, hugging tightly to one of his arms respectively. To Issei's surprise, even Tsubaki was there, clinging to Issei's left leg, while number 21 clinging to his right leg. Akeno was practically asleep on Issei, resting her entire body on the Saiyans, and Kuroka was sleeping on top of the Saiyan around Issei's head. Issei calmly touched Roswis's cheeks with his finger in a tender way, which made her wake up. Very sleepy, she woke up. Roswis. Huh? What's going on? Issei-kun. Issei just smiled, saying. You look very cute when you sleep. Seeing that Issei was already awake, she began to shed tears and then hugged him. Roswis. Issei-kun, are you okay? They all woke up suddenly, seeing Roswis's screams. Just like the Valkyrie, they all started crying, rushing to hug the Saiyan. Issei, still in everyone's arms, sympathetically told them that he needed space. Issei. Calm down, okay? Sona. But how do you want us to calm down if you even spit blood and then collapsed? Issei. Apparently I overdid it with the powers of Super Saiyan God, and that was why my body couldn't withstand the waste of energy. That was why I fainted. Ha 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 ha, how stupid I was. I should be more careful next time. Roswis. Don't say it so calmly. When you fainted we all felt like a part of our hearts had been taken away from us. Don't scare us like that again. Bakeno. I have to take better care of you Issei-kun, so that the same thing doesn't happen to you again. Issei only responded with a smile. Issei. By the way. Notice that Tsubaki-senpai was with us, he was even sleeping like you usually do. Tsubaki just blushed. Sona. Well, you see, Tsubaki, seeing you act so bravely, ended up getting attached to you. She told me that she would feel safer if she was by your side, so she asked me as a favor if she could stay with us at home. Issei. Is that true, Tsubaki-senpai? Tsubaki. Yes. I hope it's not too much trouble Issei-kun. Issei. No problem, Su-chan. Hearing the way Issei called, she became very red. Issei. Well. At least there is no longer any threat, for the moment we can rest easy. But. There is only one thing that has me very worried. A21. What is Issei-kun? Issei. It's just that I'm dying of hunger. Placing his hand behind her head. They all looked at him with a smile and a drop of sweat, so they all went down to the living room. The girls began to prepare food for Issei. Meanwhile he helped them and very sympathetically Issei told all the details to Tsubaki. At that moment Trunks and Tapion joined them. They all happily ate, while commenting on everything that had just happened. They finished eating and went to sleep since they had school tomorrow. The next day. The day started normally, everyone got up early to go to school, the day was going very normally, however on the way to school, Issei occasionally felt that pain he had after transforming into Super Saiyan God, but still so he went to school. The girls realized this. Sona. I still don't understand how you can come to school if you still have those unbearable pains. Bakeno. Sona is right, Issei-kun. It would have been better if you stayed at home resting. Issei. Don't worry, despite not feeling very well, I have to go to class. I promised my grandmother Milk and grandfather Gohan that I would do my best to have the best grades. Roswas. Wow Issei-kun, although I like that attitude of a diligent student, but Akeno-san and Sona-san are right. Everyone entered class. Mitsuda and Motohama were back in the classroom. They had been expelled for so many accusations of spying on the girls in the school bathrooms. They did not approach Issei or anyone else, since they were afraid of causing problems. Issei he was very attentive to the class. He participated by answering questions, and even went on to solve one or another exercise. When he returned from solving the blackboard exercise and went to his seat, he felt the same pain again as that time, staggering a little and about to fall to the ground if it weren't for leaning on his classmate Ika Kiryu's desk. Kiryu? Hey Haidu, are you okay? Issei. Yes. Kiryu I'm fine. It's nothing. With work, the Saiyan returned to his seat, attracting the concern of all the girls in the classroom, especially Asia, Zenobia and Irina, who couldn't stop looking at him and worrying every time he writhed in pain and took one of them. Your arms. The bell rang for recess. Issei walked very seriously out of the classroom. He was heading to look for Kiba. Apparently the pain had calmed down a little. He found Kiba and began walking with him through the school hallways while they talked among the uncontrolled murmurs and screams of all the girls. Issei. I was seriously impressed by the way you helped Trunks and Tapion. It really shows that your training paid off. Kiba. Yes, it was the least I could do to help Trunks sensei and Tapion sensei. Besides, you helped me by giving me a little of your energy. Issei. You know that's what friends are for. At that moment, they turned the corner of the hallway to reach the entrance of the school. They realized that some bullies were about to beat up Mitsuda and Motohama. Bully 1. Listen to me well, damn. If you spy on my girlfriend again, I will kill you, do you hear me? The beating I'm going to give you will only serve as a warning while taking Motohama by the neck. Bully 2. You heard it, you will also suffer the same fate. Hitting Mitsuda in the stomach. Issei changed his calm face to a serious and challenging one. Kiba noticed this. Kiba. Issei-kun. Issei began to walk, heading towards where they were. With his hands in his pockets he addressed the bullies. Issei. Hey guys, why don't you mess with one your size, insects? Bully 1. What did you say? But he's just the new pretty boy at school. Bully 2. Just because you gained a few muscles you think you can talk to us like that? Issei. Listen to me carefully, I will ask you in a good way, leave them alone and you won't get hurt. Bully 1 hurt. Hahaha, but you're nothing more than a talker. The bully lunged at Issei, trying to punch him. Issei dodged it only by moving his head and then hit him with a knee in his stomach, which would leave him gasping for air. This caused the bully to fall to the ground on his knees. Issei. I warned you. Bully 2. Miserable, you'll pay me. The remaining bully began to run in the same direction with the same punching intention as the previous subject. Issei easily stopped him with his hand and then punched him in the stomach. Issei. Don't cause any more problems. Otherwise they'll have to deal with me again. Everyone amazed at how he had easily defeated those two. Issei approached Mitsuda and Motohama. Issei. Are you okay? Didn't those bastards hurt you? Motohama. Issei, you are the best. Mitsuda. I thought you forgot about us. Issei. But if we remain friends, you don't have to think that. Motohama. Why don't we go spy on the girls' bathroom to celebrate? Before we got suspended from classes we found a perfect place. Issei. I'm sorry guys, but that doesn't interest me, I have to go. And don't get into trouble, I'll see you in class. Issei returned to Kiba to continue talking and walking. Kiba. It was very generous of you to help that pair, Issei-kun. Issei. After all, they are still my friends, haha. At that moment, Issei felt the infernal pain from before again, but now even stronger, so he collapsed to the ground. Later. Issei woke up on a stretcher, he was in the school infirmary, the pain was gone, and a little calmer he began to talk to himself. Issei. Damn. If I continue like this I will never be able to get stronger, I only used Super Saiyan God once, and the consequences have been very bad, I have to train more otherwise I will never be able to surpass Grandpa Goku and Lord Vegeta. At that moment the boosted gear gem appeared in Issei's hand. Dreg. Remember what your grandfather said. Issei. Dreg. What are you talking about? Dreg. The last time you saw your grandfather he mentioned to you that there would be someone who would teach you how to master the power of the gods, you must contact him to solve this problem. You must do it quickly, because the damage is collateral, I also feel the same pain that is affecting you. Issei. You're right, but what I don't understand is how I feel better if the girls weren't there to cure me with magic and I didn't bring hermit seeds either. Dreg. It seems like you're about to realize it. The door opened and a tall, very beautiful woman entered, with dark brown hair, green eyes, wearing glasses, a green blouse, a black skirt, and above all that the typical doctor's coat. Issei quickly realized that it was the school doctor, although I had never seen her there. Doctor? I see that you're already awake, what a relief, I thought it would take longer. Issei. Yes, sensei. My name is Haidu Issei, nice to meet you. Doctor? I know who you are Issei-kun, my name is Hisato Hasegawa, and as you see I am the school doctor, in fact it is my second day here. Issei. Nice to meet you, Hasegawa-sensei. I thank you very much for taking care of me. Issei looked at her carefully and in her thoughts he said damn she is very beautiful, but I can't feel her kai, it's a very strange sensation. Chisato. Don't worry Issei-kun, although I had a little work to heal you. The body of a Saiyan is very interesting. Issei. Weddy. No, not at all, I think you're getting confused. Chisato. Don't worry, Issei-kun, you don't have to act like that, I know you're a Saiyan, how do you think I managed to get you to recover from that infernal pain that caused you to faint? Issei. Then tell me how you know me and who you really are. I ask you please. Chisato. Okay, ask me anything you want. Issei. There is one thing that has me very intrigued, although it is true that you know everything related to Saiyans, I imagine that you must have some special ability or hidden power. Chisato. What is Issei-kun? Responding with a smile. Issei. When you came in, I couldn't feel your kai no matter how hard I tried, explain to me why. Chisato. You see, not being used to the power of the gods, combined with the wear and tear you had, you are still not able to sense the kai of a god. Issei. It can't be those that mean you're a goddess. Chapter 15. Entering the land of the gods knowing the destroyer god. Even in the infirmary, with Dr. Chisato in front of the Saiyan and with the confession she had made, Issei, still sitting on the stretcher in the school clinic, is very confused about what Chisato had told him. Issei. Like a goddess. Chisato. Yes, Issei-kun. I am the goddess protector of the earth, it is a position similar to that of Kamisama, but only more independent, I only see that the earth is in perfect condition and ensure that living beings and nature are well. Issei. I imagine you must be more powerful than me. Chisato. Not at all Issei-kun, the fact that I am a goddess does not mean that I have enormous power and combat ability. My skills focus more on magic and healing. Issei. I see, it's strange not being able to sense someone's kai. Issei said with a smile. Chisato. Don't worry, with proper training you will be able to detect the kai of a god. Issei. Well, thank you for making me improve a little. Chisato. Hey, Issei-kun. I can ask you something. Issei. What, Hasegawa-sensei? Chisato. I know it may be difficult because of the state you are in, but could you transform? That will give me an idea of how I can help you make a full recovery. Issei. Okay, but on the condition that you also show me a little of your power. Chisato. Deal, will you go first? Issei transformed into Super Saiyan without much effort. Issei. I did what you asked, Hasegawa-sensei, now what? Chisato. Okay. Tell me how you feel. Issei. At the moment I feel fine, I don't find anything strange. Chisato. Wow, your Super Saiyan form is definitely amazing. Issei. No big deal, now it's your turn to show your power, Hasegawa-sensei. Chisato. If you say so. Chisato began to emanate a type of energy similar to that of Issei's Super Saiyan God, with the difference that you could notice the warmth and peace that Chisato's aura transmitted. A tranquil atmosphere was formed in the school infirmary. The only physical change was that his hair turned blonde. Issei was surprised by what he was seeing. Issei. Wow. I already realized that you are a goddess. Chisato, this is my divine form, my real name is Chisato Afuria, but you can call me whatever you like, Issei-kun. Well, now it's your turn. Issei. But what about school? Unlike you, my transformation is much more destructive and chaotic. Chisato. I think I can handle that. Chisato extended her hand to create a kind of magic circle, a green aura spread around the place, thus creating a kind of force field around where the two of them were. Chisato. Ready, Issei-kun, you can raise your power with confidence. Issei. Well, here I go. Issei got up from the stretcher and closed his eyes, relaxing completely. His hair turned red, the incandescent aura of the Super Saiyan God began to form in his. Issei suddenly opened his eyes, which had turned red. Issei. Hi Aya. Issei gave a shout that made his aura completely strengthen, ending the transformation. Chisato had been very impressed, making her blush a little. The pressure exerted by Issei's energy was abysmal, so much so that the barrier created by the goddess Chisato Afuria was beginning to crack. Chisato. Your power is gigantic, the Kai I feel right now is enormous, now tell me. Don't you feel something different? Issei. Well, I don't feel any different from the previous time I used this transformation. At that moment, Issei once again felt that infernal pain caused by the excess of power beyond what his body could bear, thus losing the Super Saiyan God transformation. Issei resisted the pain as he clenched his teeth and grabbed one of his shoulders, falling once again on the stretcher. Chisato approached to heal him with his magic. Chisato. I see, apparently the reason for the pain you feel is because when you use the Super Saiyan God in Detran's form, the divine energy is retained in your body. This is caused by your inability to control the divine Kai. Apart from that, I feel like if there is something inside your body that restricts your ability to withstand such an amount of energy, we have to do something with that energy retained in your body. Issei. And what can be done? He said, still in pain. Chisato. Well, I could solve the problem right now, but the process is a bit long and it has to be in a quieter place. Although, there are also other ways to heal yourself. Issei, still on the stretcher, saw how Chisato returned to her base state, thus breaking the barrier that she had created. She got very close to Issei, getting on the stretcher, giving Issei a little push, laying him down completely on the stretcher. Chisato instantly fell asleep. Put on Issei. Issei. Hasegawa-sensei, what are you doing? He said, a little nervous. Chisato just stared at him. Issei totally lost himself in the beautiful green eyes of the goddess protector of the earth. The Saiyan blushed, and little by little, they both got closer until their lips met. Issei still confused by what he had just said. Passing by, he saw Chisato's beautiful face blushing. Both were about to move on, but at that moment the bell rang. It was time for lunch. Chisato got up, adjusted her glasses and said, still blushing. Chisato. Well, Issei-kun, you better go get something to eat and then go back to class, you already lost too much class time. Issei. Yes. Thank you very much for your help, Hasegawa-sensei. Chisato. By the way, come see me after class to solve your problem. Issei. Okay, I'll see her later. Hasegawa-sensei. Issei left the infirmary. As he walked through the hallways, he thought about everything that had just happened and how Chisato had behaved with him, but the roar of his stomach interrupted his thoughts, so he quickly headed to the cafeteria. School, bought everything he could and put it in his backpack. The Saiyan went outside the school, sat under a tree and began to eat wildly. He couldn't help but ignore the expression of everyone who saw him eating. In such a way, especially from the girls who saw him with so much desire. At that moment, Issei felt a familiar Kai, but upon recognizing it he only smiled a little. It was Kuroka who, when she came down from a tree, stood behind him hugging him. Kuroka. Nyan, Issei-kun, I've missed you so much. Issei. I know, and that's why you came to school. Kuroka. Nyan, don't you like it? Issei. On the contrary, it's good to know that you are interested in me. Kuroka. Of course, and even more knowing that you are not completely well. Issei took one of Kuroka's hands and placed it against his face. Issei. I appreciate it, knowing that you came here for me makes me feel better. Kuroka blushed when she heard Issei's words, so she lay on her side behind Issei and then took Issei's head, making him end up lying on her legs. This made Issei blush a little. Kuroka, seeing this, she started playing with her hair. This caused Issei to relax a little. Kuroka. Tell me, does it feel good? Issei. It's one of the best feelings. Kuroka. Close your eyes, that way you'll feel much more relaxed. Issei closed his eyes. He thought about who those people his grandfather told him would be, what they would be like, and how powerful they were. Just then, Kuroka placed a big kiss on her mouth and Issei opened his eyes suddenly. Kuroka. Nyan, Issei-kun, you were caught off guard. Besides, I was the only one who hadn't done it. Issei only responded with a smile. After the kiss, they spent the rest of lunch talking while he continued lying comfortably on Kuroka's legs. Once the bell rang, they both got up, Issei said goodbye with a hug and then returned to class. Everything happened as usual until departure time arrived. As Chisato had indicated, Issei headed to the infirmary. While he was on his way he met Roswas. The Saiyan asked him to please tell the others not to wait for him and that he would arrive home later. She said goodbye from Issei and left. Issei arrived at the infirmary to realize that Chisato was closing the infirmary, to which Issei asked, Issei, Hasegawa-sensei, weren't you going to help me recover completely? Chisato. Yes, but this place is very uncomfortable, plus if someone enters they could realize who we really are and that would be a problem. Issei. So. Where are we going? Chisato. Well, to my house. Issei. Wedi. To his house. Chisato. Is there a problem, Issei-kun? Issei. No, none, I just don't know if you would feel comfortable with my presence. Chisato. It's nothing, in fact I would love for you to go, I almost never have visitors. Issei. Well, okay. Issei left school with Chisato. As they arrived at the goddess's apartment, they talked and told each other different things about each other. They arrived at the apartment, which was a large building, with a large number of floors. Chisato's apartment was the one on the top floor of the building, so they took an elevator to get there. They left and entered the apartment. Chisato. Make yourself at home. Issei. Thank you very much, Hasegawa-sensei. Chisato. Are you hungry? I could prepare something for you. Issei. I just wouldn't want to bother her too much, he said, somewhat embarrassed. Chisato approached, caressed her head a little, and told her. Chisato. You don't have to think that, it doesn't bother me that you are here, on the contrary I feel very happy that you came to my house. Wait in the living room, I'll prepare something for you in a moment. Chisato took Issei to the living room, the Saiyan sat down, and the goddess went to the kitchen. Issei observed how spacious and luxurious Dr. Hasegawa's apartment was. Issei in her thoughts, Hasegawa-sensei's house is almost as luxurious as mine when they remodeled it. Who would think that the goddess who protects the earth lived in Kuo? I am surprised that she lives alone, since she is very beautiful. Chisato. Issei-kun, the food is ready. Issei. I'm coming. Issei entered the kitchen and found that there was an immense amount of food on the table, so he sat down, thanked for the food, and proceeded to eat wildly, to which Chisato looked in disbelief at the sweep that Issei did with the food. Issei finished eating and very happily said, Issei. Thank you very much, Hasegawa-sensei, the food was exquisite. Chisato. I'm glad you liked it, Issei-kun. Issei. At least let me help you wash the dishes. Issei got up from the table, took all the plates he had eaten from, and took them to the kitchen. When Issei placed the plates, Chisato interrupted him. Chisato. It won't be necessary, just leave them there. Issei. Huh. Chisato just extended his hand, a kind of small magic circle appeared. Chisato just moved his hand over the plates, and they were instantly clean. Issei was a little surprised, Chisato only responded with a smile. Chisato. Well, Issei-kun, now that you have eaten, it is time to start the ritual, so that you can recover once and for all. Issei. Okay, Hasegawa-sensei. Chisato. Come, let's go to my room. Issei began to follow her, a little nervous, they both entered. Chisato. Okay, Issei-kun. I know it may sound strange, but for this ritual direct contact is required, so I am going to ask you to undress completely. Issei. HHHHH. Okay, if you say so. Chisato. Do it and sit on the bed, I'll be right back. Chisato left the room. Issei proceeded to undress and sat on the edge of the bed, thinking about what could happen. A few seconds later he heard the footsteps of Chisato's bare feet, to which he assumed that she was also naked. Chisato climbed onto the bed on the opposite side to where Issei was sitting. She approached his side and hugged him from behind, putting her breasts right on Issei's back. This made Issei blush a lot. Chisato. Well, Issei-kun, it's time to start. Chisato began to emanate a green aura. Issei began to feel warmth and tranquility. He also felt how that energy retained in his body began to come out. Issei felt so relaxed and calm. Chisato. How do you feel, Issei-kun? Issei. I feel excellent, I feel the excess energy leaving my body. Chisato. That's good to know. Chisato's aura faded and he stopped hugging Issei and he moved a little away from Issei without getting off the bed. Lemon skipped, please read it on website. When the kiss ended, Issei reacted and very embarrassed said, Issei. Hasegawa-sensei. Please excuse me. I didn't mean to do that. Chisato. Don't worry, Issei-kun, you don't have to be sad. By the way, I managed to drain the excess energy that was stuck in your body, but what was restricting your power is still in you, but its effect has largely been weakened, so don't worry about that. Issei. I appreciate it very much. Chisato. You should change. Remember that you have to return home. They must be waiting for you. Issei. Yes, you're right. It's better that I leave. They both got dressed and left the room. Issei took his things and then they both left the building. They went down the elevator. At the entrance of the building Issei said goodbye saying, "Issei. Once again, thank you Hasegawa-sensei, I thank you very much for what he did for me." Chisato did not respond and hugged Issei, placing her breasts in his face and kissed him on the forehead. "Chisato. Take good care of yourself Issei-kun." Issei blushed and said, "You too, Hasegawa-sensei." Issei looked around him to see that no one was watching him. He placed both fingers on his forehead and teleported to the entrance of his house. He knocked on the door to find all his girls somewhat angry and at the same time worried. Sona. Issei-kun, where were you? Roswas. Issei-kun, can you explain to us what you were doing? A21. We thought something had happened to you. Issei with his hand behind his head and with a small smile entered his house and began to tell his girls everything except the passionate part with Chisato. The rest of the day happened normally. The next day. The day started normally, as did classes, until lunchtime arrived. Issei did not want to eat in the school cafeteria, so he teleported to the Kamisama temple. To his surprise Trunks and Tapian were there. "Dend. Hello Issei, how are you?" Issei. "Very good Dend, it's nice to see you." "Dend. And what brings you here?" Issei. "Well, I'm on my lunch break and I was wondering if Mr. Popo could prepare me something to eat since his food is delicious." "Dend. No problem, Issei. It will be a pleasure. In a moment, I'll tell Mr. Popo to prepare something for you." At that moment, Trunks and Tapian appeared, who were training in the time room. Issei went to talk to them, while Den told Mr. Popo to prepare some food. After a while Mr. Popo arrived with a lot of food and everyone got ready to eat. Issei told them about the constant pain caused because of the excess energy and how he had met Chisato. And, "Ah I see, Afuria helped you with." Issei. "Yes, and thanks to his help I feel much better." Tapian. "Hey Issei, how's Kiba?" Issei. "Well that's fine, he told me that he is very grateful for what you and Trunks taught him." Tapian. "That's good to hear." Trunks. "By the way, Issei, this will be our last day here since Tapian and I must return to our jobs as time patrollers." Issei. "I understand, well then in that case I will tell the others so they can say goodbye." Issei thanked him for the food and prepared to return to school. At that moment Shin appeared, to everyone's surprise. Shin, hello everyone, it's great to see you. Trunks. Shin, I haven't seen you since the battle against Black and Zama's. Shin. I'm very happy to see you Trunks, it's good to know that you are well and that he is doing well helping the Supreme Kaiosama of Time. By the way, young Issei, do you remember that Lord Goku told you about someone who would help you master the power of the gods? Issei. Yes, but I don't have the slightest idea who he is. Shin. Well let me tell you that he is neither more nor less than the god of destruction and his master. Issei. What? Does it mean that I will train with the people who trained my grandfather and Lord Vegeta? Shin. Indeed, today we will go visit Mr. Beerus and Mr. Whis. Issei. But I have to go back to class, can we go when classes are over? Shin. There is no problem, since I only came at this time to let you know, since if you want Mr. Beerus and Mr. Whis, you need to bring certain things. Issei. What is it about? Shin. Well, you should bring food as a thank you. Issei. Hahaha, I thought I would have something much more difficult to find, well then I'll go buy it when I get out of school. Trunks. Hey Shin, if you're going to visit Mr. Beerus and Mr. Whis, can I come? I would like to visit Mr. Whis and Mr. Beerus before returning to the Supreme Kaiosama of Time. Shin. No problem, I'll come in a few hours, make sure you bring a good amount of food. Well, I'll see you later. Kai. Shin teleported back to the Supreme Planet. Issei said goodbye to Dend, Mr. Popo, Trunks and Tapian, returning to school. Everything happened normally until departure time. Tapian had agreed to train for the last time with Kiba. Trunks had agreed to meet Issei outside the school. They met Sona and Tsubaki who were on their way home. He told them what they would do to make them stay calm and tell the others. Issei said goodbye to both of them with a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Issei went with Trunks into the center of Kuo to buy a lot of food for Mr. Beerus. Fortunately Issei's parents had left some money before leaving on their trip, and since the girls didn't spend a lot of money on food, since they cooked with magic, there was no problem using that money to buy food for Mr. Beerus and Whis. They bought a few boxes of pizza, a few plates of sushi, some tubs of ice cream, candy, pudding and other things. When they finished buying the food, a little loaded, they teleported to the Supreme Planet so that later, together with Shin, they arrived at Beerus's planet. When they arrived Whis was walking calmly seeing that the planet was in order. Instantly he noticed the presence of the Supreme Kaiosama, Trunks and Issei. Whis. Supreme Kaiosama, who brings him here, I see that he is accompanied. Shin. Mr. Whis, it's great to see you, sorry for this unexpected visit. Whis. Don't worry, oh but if it's Trunks from the future, it's been a long time. How is your work as a time patrolman going? Trunks. Well, very good, the Supreme Kaiosama of Time has helped me a lot. Whis. I'm glad to hear that. And who do we have here? Seeing Issei. Issei. My name is Haidu Issei, nice to meet you Mr. Whis. Whis. Nice to meet you Issei-san. Well. What is the reason for his visit? Shin. You see, Mr. Whis, young Issei is the grandson of Lord Goku, and he has great potential as a Saiyan warrior, so Lord Goku suggested he come with you. Whis. So. Does that mean that the Super Saiyan God energy I felt a few days ago was yours Issei-san? Issei. Yes Mr. Whis, you are correct. I see. Whis. Well, if I'm going to train you I have to see what you're capable of. Could you transform into Super Saiyan God, please? Issei. Okay. Issei transformed into Super Saiyan God, making a huge noise throughout the planet of Beerus. It was at that moment when he realized that the ritual with Chisato had worked. Whis a little surprised said. Whis. Interesting, but I see that your power is not being expelled completely, it's as if something is restricting your power. Whis pointed his staff at Issei, a small flash formed in Issei's chest, so that then the demonic pieces that Rias had put in him when she reincarnated him into a demon came out of Issei's chest. Whis. Apparently this was what was restricting your power, now so you can see what I'm talking about, I'm going to ask you to please increase your power to the maximum. Issei gave a great battle cry, his SSJ God aura increased in size and an enormous power could be felt, which far exceeded the level that Issei demonstrated when he used the SSJ God, the pressure was much more overwhelming and another great roar was heard. Felt on Beerus's planet. Issei. Impressive. I feel that the intensity of my body and my Kai has increased considerably. Whis. See. I told you. It seems that you have potential, it will be a pleasure to train you. Plus I have been very bored in recent years, it will be very fun to have the last Saiyan as a disciple. Issei. Thank you very much, Mr. Whis. Issei returned to his base state. Hey Whis, what's all the fuss about? Whis. Mr. Beerus, I see that he has already woken up. Beerus. If it weren't for the commotion and noise that is going on in this place, the god of destruction would still be sleeping, and tell me Whis, what are the Supreme Kaiosama and these two brats doing here? I see that one of them is that boy who returned in the time machine a long time ago because of the problem with Black and Zama's. Whis. Vera Mr. Beerus, young Trunks is now a time patrolman, he helps the Supreme Kaiosama of Time in preventing the events of history from being altered. Trunks. It's great to see you again, Mr. Beerus. Beerus. That's good to hear, because if I find out that you're traveling through time for your own pleasure. Changing his expression to a more angry one, I'll destroy you. Trunks just expressed a nervous smile. Beerus. And who is the other one? Whis. This is Goku's great-great-grandson, his name is Issei. And he came to this planet to train with me. Issei, nice to meet you Mr. Beerus. It is a pleasure for me to meet the god of destruction. Beerus. Wait a minute boy, Whis said you came here to train. Issei. That's right, Mr. Beerus. Beerus. And Whis accepted. Ha, they surely blackmailed this glutton with some food. A little serious. Issei. Oh, I forgot. Issei started taking the food out of the bags. Issei. As a thank you, I brought you some food. Whis. Ho 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 ho, this is a surprise, you see, Mr. Beerus, you don't have to worry about young Issei. Beerus began to look with desire at the food that Issei had brought, the Saiyan noticed this and asked. Issei. So Mr. Beerus. You agree that I train with Mr. Whis? Bills. Huh. Ahem. But. I am the god of destruction and even though you brought this delicious food, I don't know if it would be a good idea to train you. Issei took the pudding out of the bag, saying. By the way, I forgot this. Beerus. What? Pewdie, and in that case we will give you a chance, I hope you won't complain. Whis. Ho ho ho, it seems that pudding is Mr. Beerus's weakness. Well Issei-san, tomorrow I will come for you at 5 in the afternoon according to your schedule, remember to be ready. Issei. Thank you very much, Whis-sensei, and to you too Beerus-sama. After this Issei gave the food to Beerus and Whis. Everyone said goodbye and Shin left Issei and Trunks at their house and then returned to the Supreme Planet. Upon entering he was greeted by a group hug from his girls. Tapian and Kiba were also inside. Fortunately, dinner was ready and everyone got ready to eat. Issei told them everything he had talked to Mr. Beerus and Whis. Once they finished eating, they cleaned everything and went to sleep. Issei in his bed surrounded by all his girls, he thought about what the training he would have with Whis would be like and if that way he could surpass Goku and Vegeta. A while later. He fell asleep. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.